of how it all started. He mentioned Nnamdi Kanu, who is also the person who has now sent that letter saying, look, no more sit-at-home order. It is not helping, especially the economy of the region. I was asking, because you are the head of the media team for Dima Osu, which is about all the communities in Osu local government. What has that impact of that letter been, not just for your community, but generally for the Southeast?
Well, I wouldn't say that I am an authority and that I can confirm or not confirm the authenticity of the letter. And to be honest with you, in my place right now, we have a whole lot to deal with, more than just treating authenticity of letters.
I was asking of the impact. If it has helped with the sit-at-home.
That's where I'm coming to, because since I can't confirm the authenticity, how can I deal with what impact it has had? But then the need for clarity on whose orders the men are actually enforcing this sit at home became very necessary. And I believe if that letter really came from Nnamdi Kanu, then it should have good effect. I will tell you that the news of that letter going round, to some extent, helped people understand, because the fear was fear of a bigger picture. But when you begin to see, okay, the man at the center of it all has said, no, I have not endorsed this, and I'm saying stop this or stop that, then it gives a certain level of confidence that, we're not dealing with the big picture, but, certain individuals.
But even with that letter, has the situation in Osu abated?
Well, the situation in Osu is way beyond just the letters, and maybe as we delve into the program, I'm going to tell you how Dima also came into existence and how much we have cried, the amount of pains we have gone through, and all that we have experienced as a local government. In fact, at some point,
I will get to the Attorney General in just a moment. Attorney General, I will get to you in a moment, but I want you to, because I want to take my question from whatever you say. I want you to paint that picture of what's happening in Osu local government. Okay,
I'll tell you this for free. Osu local government before now used to be one of the most peaceful parts of Imo State, very reserved area. Not too much goes on there, not a lot of, a lot of economic. It's more of a place where you have farmers and, small markets and people making their normal living. But only recently, in a couple of years back, it became very terrible. Maybe because we have, some of these forest and reserved areas, it became a den for some of these individuals or some of these young men who, decided to use it as a place to camp, and carry out, whatever activities they want to. This started.
And that's the ESN? Is that the ESN?
I can't confirm that right now who they are, because we're getting reports of the Nnamdi Kanu saying no. I've not given instructions for this, or we're getting front and back.
Southeast, I just want to be sure, because the Attorney General said, look, the ESN came about because of the reports from Nnamdi Kanu saying that herdsmen had invaded, the Southeast. But these people who have camped in Osu, they are also Southeasterners.
We are dealing with a whole lot of different groups of these people. But the bottom line is that what we experience is a complete breakdown of law of order, chaos, and people, in some cases, people are even taking advantage of it to carry out other criminal activities. So it's way beyond, no complete investigation has been conducted to say, oh, those who have been doing this and also are these people. Now, but the Dima Osu is actually also people having taken so much over time, coming together. And when I say coming together, everybody, I want to make it very clear here, Dima Osu is not, a political face, it's not pro-government, it's not partisan. It is a get-together of everybody, every concerned citizen, including the traditional institution.
They are tired of what's going on.
The traditional institution, political players, captains of industry, youths, everybody came together under the leadership of Eze-elect E.I. Nwokedi. You would agree with me, a traditional ruler.
Let me bring in the Attorney General. Mr. Kaulisa, the governors in the Southeast have been highly blamed, for failure to address the situation in the Southeast. And, I'm afraid your governor, your principal, Governor Hope Uzodimma, as one of those who have been, blamed, saying, look, he hasn't really addressed the issues in Imo State, especially with the insecurity. I want you to react to that.
Yes, I was coming to address that issue before I was cut off. You see, I said that when ESN was established, and they started attacking security formations and individuals and attacking policemen, burning police stations at Awidemi. My house was burnt down. I was the first victim because I called a press conference and I told the ESN and the whole world that anybody who is caught killing policemen and killing, burning police stations will be tried for murder. After I made that statement, my house was burned down. My entire mansion was burned down. They subsequently burned down my father's compound. And you see, at that time, Anikalo was in London. He was not in captivity. He has not been held at that time. The emergence of Mr.
Kalisa, you're not answering my question. My question, Mr. Kalisa, just a minute, because we have limited time. We have very limited time. I would like you to address the questions, as they come. I was talking about the failure of government, as reported by some people who say, look, governments in the Southeast are not addressing these issues. And I was asking you to react to that, especially because, a lot of people say that the governor of Imo State is not addressing this particular issue.
It's the issue. You understand? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So both of them are in conflict now. Whose order are they going to obey? The operatives that are in also and other parts of Southeast, receiving different orders from different quarters. Which order are they going to obey? That is why you are raising the issue of authenticity of the letter, because some of them don't believe that letter originated from Nnamdi Kanu. In the Southeast, the governors of the Southeast have done everything possible to see that we stop this level of insecurity and killings in the Southeast. My governor, Chifo Uzodimma, did not waste his time making sure that he put everything security-wise to contain these incursions and these race of killings and banditry in Imo State. If the governor had not attacked the insecurity the way he had attacked it, the Imo State and the part of Southeast will not be as safe as they are today. So it is that action of the governor in rising to the occasion. A lot of our people did not want to rise to the occasion. A lot of people were playing lip service to the issue. That was why the insecurity increased to the level that we have it in the Southeast. A lot of traditional rulers, a lot of professionals, we are not blaming, we just blame the government, But the thing was overwhelming. The entire Southeast was overwhelmed by those security challenges, and a lot of people were sitting on the fence. But now they are realizing that it's not against the government. It's not an attack against government. It is not only against Imo State government, but on the people. The attack is against the people.
Mr. Kalisa, what about the situation in Osu? How did it degenerate to this particular level, and what is the government doing to address it?
What happened in Osu is that the headquarters of the ESN was in Osu. One of their major generals, Mike Ahize, and Tempo, and some of the other of their generals were living in Osu. There is a groove in Osu, a valley in Osu, where they made their headquarters. What we have been doing, the military have been going there, but we have also used community approach to beg the people, to address the people, address the youths, because at the point, they coerced all our youths to enter into their struggle. All the youths entered it. It is the bad boys that they released from the prison. Those people were not original ESN. They were people who were in prison, convicted of murder, convicted of kidnapping, convicted of all types of criminality that were released from Owerri prison. Who released them from Owerri prison? That is the question we should ask. Why is it that nobody wants to say it is these people that released them from the prison? Somebody went to the prison and released those people and made them their army. And they started using those people to attack innocent citizens. And that is the cross we are carrying today. Because those people that are attacking us, killing us, beheading people in Imo State, and beheading people that we call bandits, we call them unknown government, they were released from the prison. So today, if you want to talk, people will tell you there are thousands of groups that have sprung up. There are many, many groups. You cannot mention the one group that is doing what it's doing. Everybody is denying the originality of the insecurity and the originality of what is happening in the Southeast. But our people should be truthful. They should be courageous enough to say the truth. That's the problem we are suffering in the Southeast. People are so afraid that they cannot, they're even denying the obvious. But our people must know that there's only God that keeps somebody alive. We receive threats every day. We are called all sorts of names. Hopefully, Odima must die. Hopefully, Odima must be killed. We must behead him. We must behead the Attorney General. Must we continue to feel unsafe and continue to fear? That is what our people are doing.
Mr. Kalisa, just a minute. Let me get to Mr. Eze here in the studio.
Now everybody is all of us.
Mr. Kalisa, just give me a minute to get to Mr. Eze in the studio, because he says it's feeling unsafe, and I wonder how just in quote the ordinary man, as we'll always say, we feel in that local government. But there is an issue of originality of where this issue is coming from, and he mentioned that. He said the speculation is that there are thousands or hundreds of groups, and no one is claiming, or no one is being courageous enough to say this is where this is coming from. Is that a big problem in terms of addressing, or a challenge in terms of addressing this particular crisis?
Well, as the head of the media team of Odimosu, I would speak for informations that we know, we have confirmed, and we can deal with. In Osu local government, we have some of these people, these young men, the unknown gunmen in our forests, okay? It's become almost impossible to carry out normal activities in the home. There's been complete breakdown of law of order. We don't even have functional police stations. We don't have, clinics. And in fact, it's like life paused, okay? Now, I talked about the creation of Odimosu. We are not just advocates. We are even mediators. Because some of the things we are doing...
Mediating between who and who?
Yeah, what we are doing is, apart from, taking frantic efforts to secure and get back our communities, we're also, extending a hand, to whoever these miscreants are, to say, if you want to surrender, if you want, embrace an amnesty program. That's part of the major programs Odimosu is, canvassing for. We are trying to rehabilitate some of these people, like the Attorney General confirmed.
Because I don't know I don't know if you have the legal grounds to carry out an amnesty program, by yourself. Do you have the support of government, whether the state government?
Exactly. I was coming to that. You can't jump a fence without going close to the fence. So most of the successes Odimosu has been able to record is a product of collaborative efforts, with government. We have paid visits, we have we stayed in contact with government, and we're in fact, in recent times, we are pleased and very encouraged with the level of support we are getting from the state government. The governor himself has confirmed that he's willing, to grant an amnesty. He's willing to support us, in our bid to, to get back our community. And we have also extended it to him to say, please, in the process of trying to get back our communities, we know that some of our boys, our youths, got into this out of, fear. They were forced to join some of these groups. And we're saying, please give us some time to tell them to please come back home, surrender. Those who do not are not from our communities, who were brought in, to cause mayhem, have been advised to leave the community within the next 2 weeks. And we have also reached out to, those of them there. There's serious frantic efforts. The Odimosu has an amnesty committee, has a security committee, has a lot of hands on deck. And what we are trying to do is, while we engage governments, we're also coming back home to say, please, if you are involved in this, we just want to have our normal lives back. We want people to, it used to be a very peaceful community. We want to have our normal lives back. It has the effect, even the loss of lives and properties, also cannot be quantified. And as I speak now, apart from, the reduction in, how do I put it? Apart from the destruction of economic activities in the community, there's also one area that not too many people are talking about: the post-traumatic stress that the men and old women in the communities are going through. It's almost becoming, some of the communities are becoming ghost towns, and we as a community, as a people, have come together under the auspices of Odimosu to say, no, this is the time for us to take back our community. This is the time for us to rebuild what is left of us, rehabilitate those we can, deal with those we need to deal with, and engage government, to rehabilitate, rebuild, and then get back our communities. That's what.
Let me get to the Attorney General, Mr. Kaulisa. What about the security angle of this? I understand that from what Mr. Eze has said, he has talked about the amnesty being granted to those who are willing to drop arms, and they're doing that in collaboration with the state government. But what about security, ensuring that, look, those who are not willing to drop their arms are actually forced out of Osu?
Yes, thank you. What the Eze has said, Emeka has said, is correct. We are in touch with Odimosu. We have held meetings with Odimosu. We have met with Odimosu, and we have given them assurances that the communities coming together to help to address this issue, reach out to the boys, because the youth, many of our youth are into this, and they know the youth. The villages know the youth. The communities know the youth. They should reach out to them and explain to them that it's safer for them, it's better for them to come out and surrender, that the government is granting amnesty. Anybody that comes out and decides to drop his gun will be rehabilitated, and government will grant him amnesty. And those who don't want to surrender, of course, they have been given 2 weeks notice that the security agencies are at their best this time around to flush out. The Chief of Army Staff has given a mandate to the formations all over Nigeria to take out the bandits wherever they are. So we know that a lot of our youth were forced into this, like Emeka said. A lot of them were coerced into it, thinking that what they were pursuing was a legitimate enterprise. But now they are seeing that there's no end to it. So many of them are ready to come out, and the government is also ready to take them back, even if they are prodigal children, but they are children of the government, they are children of Imo State, and we will receive them and rehabilitate them. And whatever we can do to make them live a normal life, the government is inclined towards that. So we are in collaboration with
Mr. Kaulisa, because I have a few minutes left, and I just want to ask you these questions. There are 2 of them. One of them is, look, the state governors in the Southeast have been blamed for inability to create a conducive environment, whether for job creation or for businesses to thrive. And that's perhaps one of the biggest challenges, where you have unemployed youths who are doing nothing, and so they can be harvested for whatever purpose anybody wants to use them for. What is the state governor, Hope Uzodimma, doing about that to ensure that there is creation of job and conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive? And then number 2, some will say, look, you can only cut off the branches and the leaves and pluck the leaves, but you do not address the problem at the roots. You will still have this problem springing up. There is a Simon Ekpa question. How do you expect that should be dealt with, maybe at the federal government level or at the state level?
Okay, let me start with your question first. What is the government doing about securing employment for the youth of Imo State? The governor has progressively attacked unemployment in Imo State. He has provided platforms under which the state government is building capacity for our youth through training, digital training, and agriculture. He has a lot of programs for the youth, which Imo State, everybody in Imo State is seeing it today as they are evolving. So it is not about a lot of unemployment being in Imo State. It was not created by us, and insecurity has not helped, but the governor is trying his best. He is putting a lot of infrastructure in place. He is doing everything to make sure that by the time he leaves office, a lot of people will see the benefit of Hope Uzodimma being the governor of Imo State, and that also translates to the Southeast. I don't think there's any governor in the Southeast who does not understand the economic implications of the insecurity in the Southeast. And everything they are doing now is to fashion a regional economic plan that will integrate the problems we have now, solve it together, and collaborate to solve it, and then reach out to those. I don't think Innocent Ipa is an Igbo man. Simon Ipa, is an Igbo man. Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man. All of us are seeing the damage that what we thought was the right approach is causing us. So I will also extend our plea to Simon Ipa. He should consider the Igbos and what the Igbos are losing economically and politically in Nigeria, and maybe redesign, change their tactics, because the tactics that have been used in the past 3 years has not yielded much dividend for the Igbo man in the cost for which they are struggling. But it has also put us in great danger. Lives have been lost. In Osun local government, we have lost more than 500 to 1,000 persons. And we have lost, many houses have been burned down. Over 200 houses have been burned down in Osun. We cannot quantify the economic loss that Osun has suffered on account of this insecurity. So, however it was imported into Igbo land and to Osun local government, we are praying to God and begging those who imported them, whether they are unknown government or political enemies of Uzodimma's administration, who felt that they were using security to take us out of office, but that style is also not working. They cannot force us out of office by using
All right.
insecurity. So we
Mr.
appeal to all
Kaulisa,
of
I
them.
want to give the last 15 seconds. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm trying to manage them as much as possible because I want to give the last 15 seconds to Mr. Mekaise to quickly have the last word on this.
Well, I'll just use that 15 seconds to say the Odimoso initiative under the able leadership of Eze-elect E.I. Nwokedi is out, to reclaim also our community and to bring back law and order. And we're at the moment, we're sensitizing the public, we're sensitizing everyone in the community, advising them on the need, to support the security operatives who have come in to, carry out these security measures, not to run when they see army officers, not to see them as enemies. We've asked that people go about their normal things and allow the army, especially, and stay away from the red zones, areas that have been identified as red zones, and allow the army carry out, their functions. And then we're also calling, using the opportunity to say, please, who is responsible for this or who has connections to these young men, to let them know of this amnesty measure and the fact that the government has confirmed that they are ready to support us and we are doing everything possible to get us back.
I mean, a lot of questions, to be answered here, a lot of questions left unanswered, rather, as to the last meeting held by the state governors and Ohanes and Digbo. The outcome of that, what next? They talked about seeing speaking with President Bola Tinubu. There is a Simon Ekpa question, just a lot of questions. Who take responsibility for all the deaths, all the property lost in the Southeast? But we'll continue to have conversation on this as things develop. Thank you so much for talking to us, Attorney General of Imo State and Commissioner for Justice, Cyprian Akaolisa, as well as the head of media team, Odimoso Mekaise. Thank you also for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's now turn to another region of the country. The discovery of oil and gas in Nigeria led to exploration of crude oil for revenue basis. However, oil exploration and exploitation has caused environmental problems in the Niger Delta region, which has resulted to major conflicts in that region and also affected the way of life of the people. We understand that fishermen and farmers are having a really difficult time in that region because of oil spill, and which has led to environmental degradation. Let's talk about that. Let's bring in the president of Ijaw Youth Council, Theophilus Alaye. Good to have you join us. Mr. Alaye, I just want to be sure that we have you on. All right, so I want to ask you to paint a picture of how bad things are in the Niger Delta region in terms of the environmental degradation.
Thank you very much. The Niger Delta happens to be the center of the oil and gas industry here in Nigeria. But over time, the Nigerian government and the IOCs operating in the region are more interested in making profits from the region than taking care of the environmental protections into serious consideration. Environmental resource management is one critical area that ought to be taken into serious consideration. But as we speak, the entire Niger Delta environment is in serious degradation position as we speak. Over time, before the IOCs came into operation here in the Niger Delta, comprehensive EIA exercise was not carried out. So the environmental standard and the environmental position was not really put into consideration. Today, pollution from gas flaring, pollution from pipeline vandalism, pollution through equipment failure is the order of the day. And as I speak to you, our mangroves, wetlands, our environment for agricultural activities are all completely polluted. And Nigeria government and the IOCs refuse to pay good attention in protecting the environment until The Obasanjo administration carried out a comprehensive EIA exercise in Ogoniland through the United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, UNEP. And the report that came through UNEP is an eye-opener that what is happening in the Niger Delta in terms of hydrocarbon pollution is not given full attention, because what United Nations, UNEP came up with shows that the Ogoni land that the IOCs claim that has been cleaned up was completely in disarray, that the entire environment, including the mangroves, were completely still polluted after 25 years of the incidents that happened in Ogoni land. And by going through that, if you replicate that, so what is happening in the Niger Delta, you will agree with me that the entire Niger Delta is in crude oil contaminated territory. Because
but Mr. Lai, talk to us about the areas that are, the worst affected, and then what the IOCs that are responsible and what they are doing to address it.
Yeah, like even recently we have pollution that took place, that is equipment failure in Membe, here in Bayelsa State, where AGIP is the owner of the equipment. Till today, nothing has been done. Those communities are crying. The attention of AGIP has been drawn. Till date, nothing has been done. Even correspondence from your organizations, the media organizations, try to reach out to them to know the situation, how and what they are going about with what has happened in Mebe. And what they said is that the people should not be communicating them. They shouldn't be reaching out to them. And that is just the situation. So, frankly speaking, Bayelsa State, the entire Niger Delta environment, is completely polluted. I cannot say that this area is between the Bayelsa and East and West axis, where AGIP Shell is operating, is in complete disarray. I can tell you that if comprehensive remediation exercise is not carried out after the era of the oil and gas, believe you me, our people will not know what they will fall back to, because the entire environment is completely in disarray. And what we are asking for as host communities is just that simple. It's not really too much. Put environmental protection into consideration, because it is the responsibilities of the owners of the equipment that are running around or that are operating in the environment that is shadowed with the responsibility to protect the equipment. So this issue of today, that is equipment failure, and IOCs will be sending a blame game that it was as a result of third party. That is something like third party.
But have the state government, I know, Mr. Lai, I know you have mentioned the federal government, because again, the petroleum industry is directly under the federal government. But the state governments, these areas, the residents of these areas are directly under the state governments. Have they done anything to address this and also hold the IOCs accountable?
The problem is, as you have said already, the oil and gas sector is completely under the control of the federal government. If the state government is coming in, their hands are tied. It's limited. The oil and gas sector is completely under the management of the federal government. So if state government are coming, they are also on the area of agitation that environmental protection should be given top priority. And I believe that is not really too much to ask. International best practice is what we are saying that should be applied in this sector, because the environment is the heritage of the people. After the oil and gas sector, because we know it's a non-sustainable source revenue or resources. Definitely these things are going to end. And what are the Niger Delta people, the producers of these things, the people that their environment is completely polluted? What are they going to fall back to? And that is why even before the PIA was passed, we were pushing that the Hoscom fund should be 10%. But even the 10% will not be enough, because that is the only way the Hoscoms will use those funds to diversify the economy of their environment, of their area, so that when the oil and gas sector has come and gone, they will not definitely want to fall back to. You must balance the economy. That is what the people of the Niger Delta are agitating and crying for. But you know, profit making, the economic benefits have been the priority and the concern and the interest of the federal government. And that is why you see that environmental protection, environmental resources management is not properly put into use. We are telling them, look, our environment are completely damaged. The ecosystem, as we are talking, as we speak, is going into modification, because native species are being affected. Invasive species are coming in as a result of this pollution that we are experiencing. So in no distance time, the entire Niger Delta environment is going to be modified, because we will be having more of invasive species than the native species. Then you understand? So there is no even checkmate of enemy pests in the environment. The Niger Delta people in no distance time will be open to epidemic diseases, because that is just the ecological reality. That is in the
and what do you expect? What do you expect going forward? Because you have talked about the dangers that this have on the livelihood of people and the health of people. Like I can't imagine anyone who lives around that environment living a healthy life. It will have a long-term impact. So what do you expect going forward?
Exactly. That is what we are saying. Our appeal is that let the people that owns these resources have sense of belonging. Increase their stake. Increase their stake. Let them be stakeholders in the oil and gas sector. Let them be key players. Increase the host community fund that they have between 3%, so at least a minimum of 20%, so that the host these communities will use that fund to diversify the economy of their region. By so doing, I believe that there will be economic stability, there will be security, and there will be standard of life will increase, and life expectancy in the area will definitely also increase. You know, poverty is what we call the short way to short lifespan. So if the people of the Niger Delta have sense of belonging, stakeholdership and stakeship in the oil and gas sector increases, definitely the economy of the area will definitely be buoyant. We want the stake of the host communities to be increased through the PIA. Let them increase the 3% host com to 20%, so that those funds that will be coming will be used to diversify the economy of the area, so that at the time when there is no oil and gas, the people will fall back to. And when those environmental challenges will be coming, the profit that will be coming from this diversified economy will be used to take care of the environment, since the federal government and the IOCs that are...
But Mr. Alaye, what are the guarantees that would happen? Because even some leaders of the Niger Delta have been accused of being complicit in some of these issues, that sometimes monies are given and they're not used for the purpose that, they should be used for. So whether or not, it is increased from 3% to 20%, what are the guarantees that it will trickle down to those who actually need help?
Definitely not that there are people that need help. What we need is sufficient funds coming out from this oil and gas sector that will be going directly to the host communities. Let me, for example, in Dorima in River State, that is being operated, the host community have a share in the proceed that is coming out. And that is what they are using for other businesses. And the proceed that is coming from those businesses are what they are using for capital projects. That is what we want the IOCs and the federal government to imbibe and implement in the sector.
There seems to be a network challenge there, but he made his point in terms of, All right. I wanted him to complete it. So, Mr. Alaye, I understand you are back. Complete your thought.
Okay. So what we are saying is, let the fund, the stakeholdership of the host community be increased. Let the IOCs and the federal government put heads together and increase the PIA host community fund that is 3% to 20%. By so doing, host coms will use the fund because that fund is coming directly to the host communities. They can use it to diversify the economy of their area. And that will definitely up the game for them. Life expectancy will increase. Proceeds that are coming from those places can be even used directly for the remediation of their own environment. Because proper remediation exercises have not been carried out. And the environment, as we speak, is going into modification. And that is very, very detrimental to the people of the Niger Delta. So what we are saying is, let the stakeholdership of the Niger Delta people, the host communities, be looked into, and let the environmental protection be put into consideration. You see, that those are areas that is only going to be implemented by the federal government. Let me also come back quickly, a quick one. The agencies that are responsible, the agencies that are responsible.
I'm afraid I do have to leave it there. I wish I had more time to, so you can, expatiate on what you wanted to, but I have to leave it there because we have another issue that we also want to focus on. Thank you so much for your time, and we're wishing you all the best.
All right.
We hope that government responds to your request, as soon as possible. President, Ijaw Youth Council, Theophilus Alaye, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. And we are also still calling that at least the Ijaw Youth Council is also saying that the IOCs and the federal government should look into and stop cash flaring as a matter of fact, matter of urgency, because the environment is not really friendly to us.
All right, thank you, Theophilus Alaye, President, Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. All right, let's turn to other stories. During the week, one of the biggest stories is the screening of the minister nominees, rather, of the the president. Now, there was also a twist in the sense that there was a new list that was presented by the federal government that was expected. But there was also a change of a name. Miriam Shetty was replaced by another woman, and Festus Keyamo, and that did generate a lot of reactions in the populace, amongst the populace. But some regions are also saying, look, it looks like they are marginalized. Some people are saying we do not like the person representing our state, and so a lot of conversations around that. I want to bring in someone who is from the North Central. He's the chairman, APC North Central Youth Stakeholders Forum. He is Comrade Musa Maman Kontagora. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
That he joins us from Abuja studio. Let me start by getting your thoughts on the ministerial list of the president. The first one, the second one, and the replacement.
Well, first of all, I have to, as a youth, we have to appreciate the president for displaying a sincerity, fulfilling his promise to carry the women along. But I also have to appreciate the president for the first time giving the chance to FCT to also participate in the ministerial list. And we thank the president also for giving the opportunity. We have seen a lot of faces. We see a lot of technocrats at the first list, at the second list. And for the replacement, it was done by the president, which the constitution have permitted the president to select as much as numbers of ministers he wished to, which will not, there's nothing wrong in what the president do to the replacement. And the issue of bringing of Festus Keyamo is a good one, because Festus Keyamo was one of the ministers of the past government that have worked hard for the victory of Asuaj Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Asuaj Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a leader that have passion, that also is good in the reward system. He has rewarded him, and we hope to see a lot of people that have worked are also rewarded too.
Let me ask you, because you use the word reward, and that's where a lot of people have issues, whether it should be a time to reward people or to actually pick competent people who will do the work?
Yes, in terms of reward, to me as a youth of the party, as a law-abiding member of the party, we are yet to see those that have really worked hard, that have rallied around the time of the campaign. We are yet to see them come on board. We are yet to see them nominated, because I believe the women have been given opportunity, but we only saw at least 2 to 3 of the women that have participated fully in the campaign. I have to commend the effort of Delta.
I will get to the issues of the women in just a moment. My question was, you said that you are pushing for those who worked to be rewarded, but Nigerians might have a problem, or some Nigerians might have a problem with that statement, reward, because they think that it is a time for the president to pick competent people to lead the country, especially when you look at where we are today. So the word reward might not sit well with people. And I just wanted to get your thought if you think that, the president should place reward above competence.
Yes, maybe to understand me right, what I mean by reward system, in time of nominating ministers, we have various portfolios. We have various places where they will be placed. When I mean reward, I mean there are a lot of portfolios that can be given to people that have worked, people that have supported him becoming the president. That is what I mean by reward system. I'm not categorizing on the issue of giving appointment to the members of the party alone. No. When the president is going to inform, to appoint, to give portfolios to the Minister of Finance, to Minister of Education, we are expecting to see an eligible person that have that qualification that can be able to bring forth good development in terms of education in Nigeria. So what I mean by reward system, I mean the president will appoint board of directors, we appoint other appointments. So the reward system needs, because after these 4 years, we are still going to campaign for another election by 2027. So if the reward is not being given the way it's supposed to be, I don't expect who will come again in order to support. So reward system is very important.
Well, 4 years is a long time. The president has not indicated interest. In fact, many would say, look, it's way too early for the president to even be indicating interest in that regard. But I wanted to ask you, you were talking about women earlier. You represent youth, you represent the North Central. Do you think that the North Central have gotten their fair share? Do you think that youths have also gotten their fair share, and then women that you mentioned earlier?
Of course, as the chairman of the stakeholders of the North Central, we are yet to see the reward system given to us as the youths. I'm not talking of myself. We have the zonal youth leader, we have the state youth leaders, we have other vibrant youth that have worked. We are expecting to see them being appointed as SA to the president. We are expected to see them being appointed in so many positions. And in terms of women, during the campaign, of course, it is a good opportunity that the president has given, but we are yet to see, because we have a lot of women that are vocal. We have a lot of women that have come out. Politics is a game of number, and it is a tune that will be used to people in order to convince them. You understand? We are yet to see. To me, we are yet to see the people that have really done the job, the people that have really come out and supported Bola Ahmed Tinubu when a lot of people stood against him. You understand me? So the women need to still be rewarded, because the women have a role to play as far as North Central is concerned. I'm talking of my own zone. So we are yet to see the women that have really worked hard for the president, the women that have really stood by the president during the campaign era. We are yet to see them come on board.
But
and I expect the president also to go
President
back.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, he's been commended for having the number of, the highest number of women, above any government. Over 20% of these nominees are women. And so a lot of people have commended him for that. So you don't think that, look, first of all, that's commendable, even though, some would say it's not up to the 35% yet. But you don't think that that's commendable, that, you have competent women in this administration, that is not about reward, but about competence?
Yes, of course, but we are yet to see more women that are competent. You understand? We are yet to see them come on board. We are yet to see them come on board. Like I'm talking of North Central. You see, now we are no longer having the national chairman of the party. It is zoned to, it has been taken to another zone. So we still need another ministerial slot in North Central to replace the vacancy that has been taken from us, the position of the national chairman.
At this moment, Mr. Kontagora is 48 already. And then people are saying, look, that's already too much, especially for when you talk about the cost of governance. And you're asking the president to pick another minister nominee from the North Central. It's like you're saying that, look, he should increase the number to what, as much as 50?
Of course, the issue of nominating the minister in the Constitution of Nigeria, the president is allowed to take as much as numbers of ministers he will be able to work with in order to bring development to the country. You understand? The ministers can be 50, they can be 52. As far as what the country will bring, we have development. You get me? So the presidency have his own right in order to go back to the list and make a lot of review and make a lot of adjustment. For example, you see there's a state, Ogun State is having 3. You understand? My state where I'm coming from is having 2. You understand? So if a state can be having 3 ministers at a place, you understand? So the Constitution have permitted it to have 3. I expect we, the North Central, we need more slots.
And I like that you said your state
need more participation.
Your state is having 2. It's fine. You know, I'm glad that you said your state is having 2, which means that, you know, every other state in the North Central have at least 1. And, you know, some will say, look, that's the constitutional requirement. The president went further to even pick 2 people from your state. And so you're asking for 2 more or, you know, many more to make as much as 50, 52, because you think that the constitution allows the president to do that. But what about the cost of governance? Can we accommodate that kind of, you know, cabinet at this time where people are saying, look, we do not have in terms of the finance to even accommodate 48?
Yes, to me, it is said earlier on that there are a lot of ministries that will be created. You understand me? So, to me, the president need more people with capacity, need more people that are vocal. You understand? I have to commend the former President Muhammadu Buhari, for we have seen a lot of women that have been appointed ministers, capable hands. You understand me? Women that
and I'm sure the women in I'm sure the women in this particular team are also capable, and you should read their profile. Thank you so much for talking to us. The chairman of APC North Central Youth Stakeholders Forum, Comrade Musa Maman Kontagora. All right, that's where we leave it on Standpoint. Remember, there is a repeat broadcast at 11 p.m. tonight and 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. I am Precious Amayo. Coming up next is The What Now?